What's up, everybody? Sean Matthew Wyford here from SMW Vocal Studios in Hudson, New York. I'm doing another vocal coach reaction video. This time to Guns N' Roses, live in 1992, Paradise City. In parentheses, it says it's the best performance. Well, let's check it out. Axl Rose is such an awesome frontman, such a unique singing voice. He's on fire. So, I have read a few articles saying that Axl Rose, as a child or as a teenager, was always very good at doing impressions and different voices. And in fact, when he was in choir or chorus, he was in with the bass baritones. And that his voice that he uses for Guns N' Roses isn't necessarily his natural voice. It's a voice that he puts on to be the frontman for Guns N' Roses. In fact, I've also read a few things saying that, you know, he's kind of notoriously late to some shows, or some shows start late sometimes because he's still warming up his voice to be able to do this kind of Olympic rock singing that he does. I'm assuming some of these shows can go on as long as 3 hours, and for somebody who's a bass baritone naturally, that is quite a workout. Let's take another listen. Those shorts though. Got some backup singers. So the sound that he is using to get that rock, throaty sound is actually quite a thin, focused sound that he is using. It's very much placed in his face. I have mentioned that a few times in my other videos. You know, Steve Perry kind of uses that technique for sure. It tends to be a more healthy approach to this type of rock singing, as opposed to having a strong resonance in your chest, or obviously an overly throaty type of singing, which Lou Gramm kind of does. Sings more in his chest than his throat. Axl Rose is definitely lifted. He's very much in his face. It's a very, very thin sound and a very compressed sound. He is actually pinching his air to get that type of what sounds like very throaty singing, but actually it's way more placed forward than it is getting stuck in his throat. And although it sounds painful, maybe, he actually, there's no way he is in pain. He wouldn't be able to have such a long career singing this way. And he just did a freaking awesome run with AC/DC where I thought he sounded great, and he was just ripping through those tunes with no problem. Both him and Brian Johnson have very similar techniques. In fact, I think Brian Johnson compresses even more to get that sound. Who else does that? Dio had that type of technique. Tell me, yeah, yeah. It's not recommended that you do this type of singing, of course, if you haven't properly warmed up. To do so, you gotta sing clean for a little while before you can really get that, put that pinch on it, a pinch on your air to get that compressed rock and roll Axl Rose sound. Boy, just tearing through that. Look how energetic he is, too. He's allowed to be that way because his voice is focused in his face, like I said, so he's not really feeling much resonance in his chest. A allowing him to kind of run around the stage like that and not really seem out of breath or anything like that. Wow, these guys are crazy. Sounds like a huge sound, but a lot of it is for sure amplification. I think if you were to be singing in a small house without a microphone with the band, you wouldn't hear them over the band. Take me out! I feel that in my throat. It's just all up in my face. I don't even think I would be able to hit that kind of note in my chest. I think that's maybe a C sharp. I certainly know that I have tried in the past when I was younger, and I had a shitty voice teacher who only really taught me how to use my chest voice, nothing about mixed voice or head voice. And I was trying to lift up to C sharps, and I got into some vocal trouble, I should say. Had to kind of relearn how to sing. Those high notes should feel light as a feather. I doubt Axl Rose, the bass baritone, could hit notes like he does in Guns N' Roses completely in his chest. Not saying that he doesn't have a chest tone. There's times where he is using his chest voice, but mostly on lower note type stuff. They're just going nuts right now. Like knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Definitely in his chest. And most people are like, whoa, he sounds so different on tunes like that, you know? In fact, I think he sings a lot of his Guns N' Roses material, usually above the staff, because then it's a lot easier to kind of maneuver his voice. He doesn't have to worry about moving from his chest to his mix to his falsetto, whatever. You know, a lot of those 80s hair metal guys sing high consistently because it's just easier to maintain that part of your voice. Won't you take me out? Yeah, yeah. Oh, no! That was one of the best performances I have witnessed from him. Good job, Axl. I think you've actually maintained your vocal strength very well throughout the years. Yeah, you might have had a Mickey Mouse era where you had to sing a little bit cleaner than you normally do. That's the thing, when you use that kind of technique and you're not compressing as much, yeah, you really notice how thin the sound is. If that makes sense. The more you pinch it, the more grit you put on it, it starts to sound a lot fuller, and it even starts to sound chestier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch it.